Let's go ahead and switch WD-40. Alright guys, we're about to get on here and pop this draft shaft off, but I want to show you all the difference between the 4-wheel drive and the 2-wheel drive Super Duties setup. This has the carrying bearing on it because of course you see the extended cab, long bed. This has the long bed but single cab. I paused it here because unlike the 4-wheel drive, this draft shaft bolts to the rear end or rear differential with the straps around the U-joint, opposed to the 4-wheel drive that I'm about to show you guys uses the flange bolted to the rear end. Show them outside. You guys can see the carrier bearing. This one's all good. Goes off there, and the shaft just slides inside the transmission like your standard draft shaft would. Guys can see that how it's made. This is messed up. It has it's bolted to the rear end here on the flange. Here, no carrying bearing. Also, 12mm bolts here. 12 point. So let's remove this really quick. That's this WD-40. Been sitting overnight. It's freezing out here. I'm just using some gray spray paint here to mark for position, so when I do go back up with it, I'll just go back in the same place that I removed it from. shaft, but any event I got stranded like that, and I was able to have the tools to remove that drag shaft from the transmission. If that new joint had went all the way bad and tore out of there, I can still drive this thing in 4-wheel drive. I can creep to where I'm going, and I'll show you guys that it's gonna move. 4-wheel drive. Bring this thing up. So here we go. I'm gonna show you guys how bad this is. I'm gonna mount the camera. I paused it here because I want to note, although it's best to replace all these U-joints at once, I've never had issues with the W joints at the end of that flange, the ones that bolster the transfer case, and I've owned several, maybe 10 of these trucks. And I've never had issues with the W joints, and those are fine. Those are fine. It's just that single one I've always had issues with. But right now, I'm just trying to get back going and get on the road to do some plowing because these temperatures are brutal here. We're in the -11s, like -8s and 10s. It's been crazy here. So just trying to get back on the road and get this thing going and get some plowing. As you guys can see, this is terrible. So, very first thing we're gonna do is set this on top of the towel. We're gonna pop these clips out. They may break. Looks like they're gonna break. And I'll show you all what universal joint I'm gonna use. What I got on deck. Also got universal joints for the. Look at that. Also got universal joints for the white truck I had bought maybe a little over a year ago, and yeah, I got some just laying around. Even for this one, it's not a Spicer, it's a Duralast, but you want to check it out. So one of the clips broke here. It's already broke, so we got to pick that out. But yeah, let's mount the camera. Let's get these out of here. these pieces are flying out, and that clip has, those clips have tension on them. Make sure you have on the other one right there. Safety glasses on at all time. All right. You know this one's already broke out, so let's pop this out. Let's get the last one out. Okay, guys, before we move on to the next step, just showing you some methods how I did it in the past. Before, I had a press, an old made in Taiwan 7/8 inch socket that I didn't care about. Fits perfect to pop those out with a hammer. I use a big hammer. I use a larger hammer than those to get it pounding out, and it takes some time and a lot of WD-40 or penetrant. You can also rent a cheap ball joint removal tool from AutoZone. They're very cheap to rent, or go to Harbor Freight and buy an inexpensive one for yourself or for your arsenal just to have on standby. I got one somewhere. I've been using it in a while. A ball joint press tool is great for these as well. You have to exert a ton of energy banging with a hammer. And also for the removal of the bolts, I use 12-point with swivel. However, you can use wrenches, regular wrench. These are great because they're long and they provide leverage. A ratchet, swivel ratchet wrench, or just a regular standard ratchet wrench allows you to get up on there using the 12-point side of all of these, and just great. Like especially these, it gives you the torque because they're long. You have the leverage. These were great. These were great. These are two different sides. All right, so we're gonna be using this press here. Just gotta clear out some space. Sit over here in the corner. Usually to press it out pretty quickly. Try to move some things out the way. I'm gonna use the air. I'm gonna run the hose over here and use the air. So, press this out, opposed to just using the lever to pump it out. We're just gonna use the air though. Okay, we gotta get this pressed out of here. It took some force to press that out. These U-joints become stubborn over the years, especially here in the Midwest, where snow and salt is a combination for disaster with these vehicles. But we got that looking all nice and good. We're gonna clean it out, get the new one in, but look at all the broken pieces. So now we gotta get this part out. Let me get this up in position somehow to press this out. I use this strap off an older draft shaft to allow this to set up vertically while I press it out. So it gave me the stability opposed to it tilting over. This is perfect. All right, got the camera here. I'm gonna clean this up with a wire brush. We're done with this. This is pretty good. It's cleaned out. All right, let's move on to the next. Let's clean the draft shaft out now. Here's the U-joint. Make sure this grease fitting tight. It's tight. Using a 7mm to make sure that was tightened. Let me show you guys something else. Let me show you the other joints from off the other car. So here are the U-joints for the white truck. Come with snap rings. So would it work? This is a much larger. This won't work. This is too big. Look at that. Let's take all of them out the box. Another one. Much larger. Here's the third one. Much larger. So let's go get the old one in comparison. So here's the old one. Identical to this one. So none of these would have worked. In the event I need to use these in the case of emergency, these would not have worked. Also came in the pack for the white truck is the carrier bearing. Alright guys, we're done with this. Last thing to do, although this universal joint came pre-greased, I'll just use a little bit more, pump a little bit more in here. Let's see, we don't put no more in there. Alright, that should do it. Perfect. So we're gonna put up the software for this particular truck. Well, all the Ford trucks, the Super Duties, the F150, I think the Ranger, and we're gonna scroll down to the torque specs. But here's some general information you may can find helpful as I scroll down. So the drive shaft to the rear axle pinion flange bolts are 76 foot-pounds. Here you see the rear drive shaft flange to the transfer case bolts are 77 foot-pounds. Although it says one F150, the F250, 350 are the same, but 77 foot-pounds, a little 1 pound over the other. We'll do both at 76 foot-pounds. Okay, we're about to reinstall the drive shaft. I'm using some of this on the bolts. Look at the key, it's removable. It's important, it's removable. The bolts are the same, front and back. I'll clean them off a little bit and go use some of this on them and torque them down both. We got our torque specs. That's set already, and we're good to go. So I got the jack under here just to give me some height. Drive shaft right there, ready to go. Truck is in neutral until we get the bolt started all the way around. Plow down to keep from moving. However, got a block on the rear wheel. May just put something right here. Can never be safe enough. It's important. So we're gonna get in here and get some bolts started and get this thing torqued down. All right, got a 25-pound dumbbell there, chock right there, and let's mount the camera and go. let's get some back bolts started now. Okay, they tighten it down. Let's torque them down now. All right, guys, we're done. It's a wrap. We're all torqued down. I was able to get all 4 of them torqued here. We torqued there. Everything back how it was. See the markings. Using the jack with the board was great holding the draft shaft up because it does have some weight on it. To keep from me exhausting energy by holding it up and trying to screw it in, the jack was perfect for that. We torqued down the specs. Everything is back like it was. The markings are there from the paint. And we're all good. We're gonna take it for a test drive now. We're all good. Let's go for a test drive. Let it warm up. We're supposed to get some more snow today, so as soon as it warm up, we're going for a test drive.